The CDC loosens guidance on social distancing and mask wearing for those who have gotten the vaccine. Could it encourage enough people to get vaccinated? That's the question I'm posing to all of you. Hi, Dave here from Informed American. And I want to say at the outset, I'm not discouraging anyone from getting the vaccine, but I know this has been a hot button issue, and many of you readers and viewers have chimed in either by writing into info@informedamerican.com or on our Facebook page, facebook.com/theinformedamerican, which I always encourage you to do. Head on over to the Facebook page, and if you have any comment that might be too long, if you want to write me a lengthy letter about something that's been on your mind, you can always write to me at info@informedamerican.com, and maybe I'll make it a topic of the show. So we got news today from the CDC. There's, as I said, relaxing those guidance. The guidance rules about who can gather and who and when and where you can wear a mask and that sort of thing. So I wanted to bring this up to your attention, really to get my finger on the pulse of all of you and how you're seeing this, and if this is enough sort of a carrot and stick approach, which I'll get to in a bit, that the government is using to encourage people to get the vaccine. And of course, the biggest approach to take is, look, if you get the vaccine, we will loosen the rules for you. So interesting. It has become the first step in that process, I believe, because as the article here says, fully vaccinated people can gather without masks. The CDC says, well, sort of. And this is a really short article from the AP. I'm going to go through this really quick. Fully vaccinated Americans can gather with other vaccinated people indoors without wearing a mask or social distancing, according to long-awaited guidance from health officials and recommendations that vaccinated people could come together in the same way with people considered to be low risk for severe diseases, such as in the case of vaccinated grandparents visiting healthy children and grandchildren. And the system is designed to address the growing demand. They're getting the vaccine, wondering, okay, now what? Can I now start living my life? And the answer is, well, from the CDC, a little bit. And if you're reading this wondering, wait a minute, the government's telling me who I can have in my own home? Well, yes. Yes, the answer is yes. And of course, thankfully, the government has chosen not to enforce that like they have in other countries, like, say, Britain and some other European countries. CDC is recommending that fully vaccinated people continue to wear well-fitted masks, avoid large gatherings, and physically distance themselves when out in public. So yeah, now it says about 9% of the U.S. population has been vaccinated. So they want to get that to, 70% or something like that. So if you're looking at this, well, now, I haven't been in a situation where, unfortunately, all four of my grandparents have passed, so I don't have someone in my family like that I would want to visit. Now, I would say at the outset, if I am visiting them, in that scenario where I were to visit a grandparent, I would certainly, I think I would wear the mask. But for all of you, chime in, and I want to know what you think. First of all, what are your thoughts on the vaccine? Are you getting it? Are you still skeptical? Have you changed your mind at all? Does this carrot and stick approach from the government, do you think this will be effective? But look, I mean, first of all, have you ever had anybody over your house over the last year, say? I know I have. Did you keep your mask on? Did you require them upon entry to make sure they had their mask on? Did you stay 6 feet apart? And as I said, I haven't been visiting anyone at a high risk, anyone who's high risk. Everyone has been about my age or younger or so, or maybe, I've had my parents over and stuff like that. And no, they did not wear masks when they came over. When I've gone over to their house, I did not wear my mask. They're both in their 60s. So I guess technically they would be at risk. And we basically... Sorry, please don't come after me, CDC, but we completely ignored these guidelines. So the question is, does this matter at all? I don't know that it has. I guess if you've got the vaccine and you're with other people who've had the vaccine, then I guess you can rest easier. But they still want you to wear the mask out in public. One, and all these guidelines still follow two very unclear things, which is we don't know the extent that someone with the vaccine can still get COVID-19. And down here in the article, it encourages you, if you're not feeling well, to get tested again. You're like, what the heck? I got the vaccine, right? So, and of course, the idea is, well, if you get it, the vaccine would make the COVID-19 much less lethal to you. But we also don't know the extent to which people who get the vaccine can transmit the virus. So you could still be a carrier, which is a bit discouraging. And then, thirdly, I think they still want people to wear the masks outside because of the potential problem that I see of people. Say the CDC had said, well, once you get the vaccine, you can now go outside without a mask. Well, I could only imagine many people shedding the mask and saying, well, I got vaccinated, so I don't need to wear the mask. So they're going to make you still wear it outside to prevent people like that, people pretending. And of course that could go, which I think I can understand people being like, I'm tired of the mask, I'm tired of wearing it, and this has gone on far enough already. But if you did have people pretending that they had the vaccine so they could not wear the mask, then that might go down a dark hole, which is people trying to verify whether or not you've had the vaccine, which might mean the issuance of what many of you were afraid of, which are these sort of vaccine cards, these vaccine identification cards, like having the cops, check your papers or something like that, your vaccine papers, which I would not want. And so hopefully that never comes. So this is it. I mean, this was sold as huge news. It's all over the place. We've been hearing this teased for days that the CDC was going to have a big announcement regarding COVID-19 and those who have gotten vaccines, and it's really not anything. And as I said before, I mean, if you went over someone's house, unless they were very old and very sick, and I think you would wear the mask out of respect in that situation. But otherwise, I just can't imagine that people were hanging out over a friend's house and not wearing a mask. I mean, you could go, like here, you could go to a restaurant, you could have, 4, 5, 6 people at a table. You sit down at the table, you take off your mask. I mean, that's the same way as it is in your house. So I'm a little concerned or dubious of the idea that these restrictions really did anything, and that to the extent to which people followed them in normal circumstances. Again, if you're in a home with someone who's immunocompromised or very old or is otherwise sick, then sure. But I think you would have put the mask on anyways. You didn't need the CDC to tell you not to wear the mask. And the lingering thing going on here is we don't know long-term enough the extent to which these vaccines will protect people and prevent the spread of COVID-19. So it just remains an ongoing question. I mean, this was hailed as a huge step, big news, but it's really just a tiny thing. It really doesn't change much at all. And if this is the approach that the CDC is taking to encourage people to get the vaccine, because now I can go over to my friend's house and I don't have to wear the mask if he got the vaccine too. I don't know that anyone's really doing that anyways. So I wanted to jump in and just talk about this a little bit. Talk about this new guidance from the CDC, which to me amounts to a whole bunch of nothing, even though it's being hailed as massive news. I think they're going to need a bigger carrot. I think the government's going to need a bigger carrot to get people who are maybe skeptical or feeling like they don't need it, or feeling like if I get the vaccine, we can get back to normal. I don't know. It's a tough thing. It's a tough people convincing them of. The American population is very skeptical. It's hard to believe anything out there. It's hard to believe any of the news that comes out every single day, because you can't trust anybody, particularly the stuff that comes out of the mainstream media. And that's why you come here to informedamerican.com to get real smart news, where we do go beyond, and we break through the mainstream media box. Excuse me. So I want to know what you think about this. Does this new guideline do anything to encourage people to get the vaccine? And if not, then maybe what would work? What would be the appropriate sort of motivation to get widespread vaccination? And if there is anything. Now, for me, I haven't had the vaccine yet, but it's also not available to me. So right now, it's not even an option if I chose to get it. So let me know what you think down below about this new guidance. Do you think it's a bunch of bull crap, or do you think this is actually something meaningful and could get a larger portion of the population on board for getting vaccinated? Go ahead and comment down below. If you're watching here on Facebook, please hit the like button and share this video with your friends. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up button and subscribe to this channel. And we always want you to hang out here on informedamerican.com, where you can get real smart news. Thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.